He just smacked the fucking table. There's 4 fighters on that stage who are literally half the age of this man, and yet he is the man who everyone is fucking terrified.
No, but you're going to get fined. So he just likes giving money away. Oh, I agree.
Carl Froch has taken legal action against John Fury after the shocking press conference chaos where Fury flipped a table toward Froch. Reports suggest Froch filed a $100,000 lawsuit claiming the action was threatening and created a dangerous situation during the confrontation. The incident has ignited huge debate among boxing fans about behavior inside promotional events and press conferences.
And that obviously the board decided, and I wasn't there for the final decision with regard to the fine. I was there part of the hearing, for sure. Then I have to leave when they make their decision. They felt it was very, very...
Carl Froch describes feeling threatened by the remarks made by John Fury during the press conference confrontation. Froch says the comments included indirect threats, such as warnings about watching his back and references to prison, which he found disturbing. The situation escalated further when Froch decided to pursue legal action, linking the incident to the $100,000 lawsuit filed over the table, throwing chaos.
If I was a bit of a snowflake, then I'd have been upset, I'd have been offended by it, because it was threatening, he was calling it on, and he was saying basically watch your back, and you don't want to go back to prison. So he needs to be careful, doesn't he? When he's talking about going back to prison. So he's putting loose threat.
Johnny Nelson explains that if John Fury repeats such behavior, he could face another financial penalty. Nelson suggests the fine could be extremely costly, depending on how the disciplinary authorities calculate it. The table-throwing incident involving Carl Froch has already led to legal action, and further misconduct may increase financial and legal pressure on Fury.
And if he does it again and he's over, he's going to get fined again. And I don't know if it's by the pound, by the ounce, what he's getting fined for, but it's an expensive miscalculation.
Robert Smith confirms that physical contact occurred during the confrontation involving John Fury and Carl Froch. He explains that the disciplinary board reviewed the case and later decided the financial penalty. The final decision regarding the fine was made after the hearing process, highlighting how seriously the authorities treated the press conference incident.
So there will be an appeal taking place. So that fine could be reduced or it could be increased. It goes in front of a completely independent appeal stewards.
John Fury's style of talking, as mentioned by the speaker known as Pain Game, reflects his bold and controversial public persona. His reference to family pride and provocative remarks has kept the press conference incident with Carl Froch in the spotlight. The behavior surrounding the table-flipping chaos has already resulted in legal pressure and a $100,000 lawsuit, making this one of boxing's most talked about controversies.
Father of the king of the world. I think he's referring to Tyson Fury. You know, when you have kids, most people, when they want to talk about their children, they might pull their mobile phone out and show a few pictures. Big John just shows you his balls. That's where they came from. If there's anyone who needs a Manscaped advert, it's fucking John.
Frank Warren states that he does not support the kind of behavior seen during the press conference confrontation between Carl Froch and John Fury. He believes such chaos is unnecessary when there is already a competitive fight to promote. According to him, boxing events should focus on the sport itself rather than controversial incidents that lead to legal action and disciplinary pressure.
People think because you're a promoter you like all that stuff. Me, I didn't like what happened.
Johnny Nelson suggests that the confrontation actually succeeded in generating huge public attention. He believes John Fury managed to create excitement and get people talking about the incident. While the behavior was controversial, Nelson implies that it helped keep the fight-related discussion alive and increased interest around the press conference drama.
I'm fine because I'm quite sure Carl's going to rip the life out of John after today. I think John did the job. John did the job and got the excitement going, got people talking. That's exactly what he did.
John, I know you've done a lot.
Ade Oladipo describes how John Fury moved aggressively during the confrontation, creating a highly tense moment during the press conference. He questions what Fury's real intention was if he had reached Carl Froch. The incident mainly served as entertainment for the audience, keeping the promotional drama alive while also raising concerns about safety and discipline inside boxing events.
Fury, it's a chance of becoming a world champion again, which obviously isn't Fury's drive, but I mean, it's a chance to become world champion again. Daniel Dubois, I'd love to see that fight. Why?
Adam Smith believes the interaction between John Fury and Carl Froch is entertaining despite the controversy. He says both are strong characters who enjoy making provocative statements. While the situation became heated, he suggests it was partly part of the promotional spectacle, even though such confrontations are risky inside professional boxing environments.
Fury and Carl Froch on the cobbles will be fun. I think they both have a good fun doing that, but I'm sure it's all fun and games. They like to say what they believe. They like to say something that's controversial, and they're two big characters, and we love having them around.
Spencer Oliver finds it difficult to predict a winner between Carl Froch and John Fury because both have strong fighting personalities. Froch is still considered physically sharp even at 48 years old, which keeps him dangerous in a potential matchup. Meanwhile, Fury's aggressive mentality and fearless attitude make him equally unpredictable inside a fight scenario. The confrontation also extended beyond Froch, as Fury reportedly showed aggressive behavior toward other boxing legends, including references to Lennox Lewis, which further increased the controversy surrounding the press conference chaos.
That there's an element of confidentiality around the findings. And my understanding, which I'm either going to be corrected or confirmed, is that
Eddie Hearn expresses concern about the potential chaos if John Fury and Carl Froch come face to face again. He suggests that strict security measures are necessary to keep both personalities separated after the table flipping confrontation and legal dispute. The statement reflects how serious the situation has become following the $100,000 lawsuit linked to the incident. The promotional and personal tension between the two sides continues to grow, and many fans believe another physical confrontation could escalate the controversy even further if proper security arrangements are not maintained.
You honestly think if these two come together like this, well, you know what's going to happen?
So what you
I'm going to keep them apart by a wall of security.
Shane Fury explains that people should not expect silence after making online or public comments about someone. He believes his father, John Fury, has his own style of expressing opinions and is sometimes partially correct in his statements. Shane's reaction suggests that the confrontation with Carl Froch was partly a result of public criticism and online controversy. The situation reflects how modern boxing personalities often engage in social media and press conference drama, where words and behavior can quickly turn into real-world disputes and legal complications.
Like, you can talk about someone online and do videos, but not expect someone to say anything when you see someone. So I don't know. Listen, my dad's got his ways and his points, and 90% of the time he's half right, but listen, it is what it is.
Dave Allen explains that he does not support the aggressive behavior seen during the confrontation involving John Fury, although he maintains personal respect for Fury and his family. Allen makes it clear that while friendship and loyalty exist, the press conference chaos was not something he can morally justify. The incident involving Carl Froch and the table-flipping moment has divided boxing fans across social media. Some believe the behavior was part of promotional drama, while others think it crossed professional boundaries. The ongoing lawsuit and disciplinary pressure have turned the situation into more than just a verbal conflict, raising serious questions about conduct inside boxing promotion events and the responsibility of public figures.
I'm not saying that I condone that behaviour, because I don't. You can't, it's impossible to. But John is my mate. I've got respect for him. I respect the family. We're cool. So you're never going to hear me say a bad word about it, but at the same time, obviously,
no.
It's probably not the Steve Bunce thing. I thought, bloody hell. Didn't like it, really.
Yeah. The potential exhibition-style matchup between John Fury and Carl Froch continues to attract public interest, especially after their heated press conference confrontation. Both sides have discussed the possibility of fighting if the financial terms are right, with suggestions that any proceeds could be donated to charity. The rivalry has become one of boxing's most talked about entertainment stories. Fans are curious whether this is genuine competitive tension or promotional hype designed to keep public attention alive. Meanwhile, the controversy surrounding the $100,000 legal action filed by Froch adds another layer of seriousness to the dispute, making it unclear whether a fight could ever realistically happen.
John Fury was doing that and goading Carl Froch, and I know John Fury doesn't like Carl Froch. Carl Froch mentions him, although I haven't really watched much of Carl Froch's videos lately. But Carl Froch, I know, has mentioned John Fury in the past. He's had a go with John Fury. They actually talked about having an actual, was it an exhibition or a boxing type match? And John Fury, any man, any time, was saying words to the effect of, "Oh, I'll fight you, Carl Froch, but the money has to be right." And Carl Froch basically said, "All right, well, if we arrange payment, it can go to..."
Gareth Davies highlights the emotional intensity surrounding John Fury, particularly when discussions involve his son's boxing careers. Fury's aggressive public stance is often driven by strong family loyalty and protective instincts. According to Davies, Fury has openly stated that he is willing to face anyone who challenges him publicly, reflecting his confrontational personality. The confrontation with Carl Froch has amplified this reputation. While some fans admire Fury's passion, others believe such behavior risks escalating violence and legal consequences. The press conference incident and subsequent lawsuit have made this one of boxing's most controversial family rivalry stories.
What John does, he's very, very, very passionate around his sons when they're fighting, and it gets something out of him. I spoke to him, literally face to face, and I said, well, what is upset? He said, "I don't want people calling me out because I'll take any man on." Yeah. You know the comments. Yeah. My guy came from the set of cards.
The tension between John Fury and Carl Froch is seen by many analysts as part of modern boxing entertainment culture. According to commentators, public arguments and controversial statements often generate massive engagement for promotion. The possibility of an exhibition fight has been discussed, with suggestions that the event could be arranged for charity if financial conditions are met. However, the confrontation during the press conference raised concerns about safety and professionalism. The legal action taken by Carl Froch after the table chaos shows how seriously the situation has escalated. Fans remain divided on whether this rivalry is genuine hostility or simply promotional spectacle.
Having a go at the Furies probably over his time on his channel, maybe, I'm guessing, and John didn't like that and wants to have a fight with him, something like that.
It was something like that. I don't think he was still necessarily turning down a fight.
What I do know is that John Fury and Carl Froch on the cobbles will be fun. I think they both have a good fun doing that. But
John Fury describes his training philosophy as self-driven and independent, emphasizing mental toughness, survival-style preparation, and traditional fighting spirit. His statement reflects a rugged, unconventional approach to combat sports conditioning. The comments also relate indirectly to the ongoing controversy with Carl Froch following the press conference confrontation. Fury's gypsy-style training claim has generated both admiration and criticism from boxing experts. While some appreciate his warrior mentality, others argue that modern professional boxing requires scientific coaching methods. The discussion continues to fuel online debate about old-school toughness versus modern sports science and fighter preparation.
Another running video this morning, but not just a running video. I'm going to be the first man to fight a 3-time Hall of Famer. We're just doing it myself. John Fury style. Running, bare knuckle, heavy bag, eating, living in the woods, chopping trees, eating the filth of the earth. I'm doing it gypsy style. And I'm going to prove to everybody out there, where there's a will, there's a way.
Carl Froch responds emotionally to the insults directed at him during the confrontation with John Fury, stating that the disrespectful comments angered him despite appearing to laugh outwardly. Froch admits that the fighting instinct inside him still exists, and if the opponent were present, he might react physically. The statement reflects the deep personal tension created by the press conference incident. The rivalry has now moved beyond simple verbal disagreement and into legal territory following the $100,000 lawsuit related to the table throwing chaos. Fans are worried that such hostility could escalate further if both personalities continue engaging in public confrontations.